Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to my submission opposing this bill. In submitting, I honour those who signed the petition, the vast majority on behalf of 70,000 Māori as a legal, political and social contract in good faith, accommodating 2,000 Pākehā to establish a government, as noted in the preamble, so that no evil will come to Māori and European living in a state of lawlessness. I also tangata whenua who with some tangata tiriti who've upheld te tiriti since 1840 through generations of breaches and injustice. This bill has fostered a cacophony of falsehoods, including the reframing of the tiriti principle of equity intervention as Māori privilege, race-based, rather than evidence-based, needs-based programs, which are addressing significantly different outcomes, for example, in health. Today I'll speak to the application of the currently accepted treaty principles of protection, participation, partnerships, equity and redress in my personal and professional medical career and the positive outcomes those principles have brought, acknowledging the many other perspectives critiquing this bill. I speak as a fifth-generation New Zealander of Scots and Irish immigrants who settled in the decades that followed Te Tiriti into Waitangi, Ngā Tuahiwi and others in Otepoti and Eden. During my Otago medical training, I enjoyed friendships within the Otago University Māori Club, began learning te reo outside and valued the language and cultural learning. I interned in 72 with Dr. Ian Pryor and Claire Sound at Wellington Hospital Epidemiology Unit. Claire established deprivation and death cells as a measure of the links between socio-economic challenges, households and health outcomes. We researched in Tairāwhiti, then attended a tangihanga ruatahura of a wahine with rheumatic heart disease. We were welcomed by Ian's colleague, John Reiho, later author of Poau Te Atatu, with whom he had partnered in research 10 years previously. They had found the 5% prevalence of rheumatic heart disease in that community, a lesson from me in partnerships and relationships. They were inspiring. After training in urban and rural New Zealand, Jamaica and UK, I returned as a consultant paediatrician in Rotorua for 17 years from 86, continued my te reo learning, and strengthened professional whānau working relationships followed, whether in emergency department contacts during meningococcal epidemics or in clinics with children with disabilities. The Well Child provider Te Ora, founded in 91, had Bill English support and demonstrated the value of queer role models, cultural and whānau knowledge. Te Ora staff training courses had our pediatric teaching support, exemplifying partnerships. We'd known for years of the disproportional rates of rheumatic fever from Māori Pacific. I returned to the Bay of Plenty in 07, this time Whakatane. By 08, we'd learned from Ngāti Hine Northland's success in rheumatic fever prevention, and by 09, the first of 4 Hauora delivered school-based programs supported by primary care providers began in the Portuguese. Minister Tony Ryle of Health opened Kawaro's 2010, and Tariana Puri, Associate Minister Murupara's 11, Ngai Tūhoe 2012. We saw the rate of rheumatic fever drop for school-aged Māori by 60% in the most deprived districts, while it doubled in Whakatane without such interventions and improving in the West. Our research published 2020 describes a solid example of participation, partnerships of Crown agencies and Hauora, clinicians and Kaimahi, fulfilling the obligation and treaty principle to protect health, address rural and Māori health and equity. Recently, this month, we published our research on skin infection and strep throat programs and what happened to rheumatic fever, comparing this recent decade to the previous one. While skin infection rates dropped 40% for Māori and New Zealand European preschoolers, Māori and Pacific preschoolers had 6 times the European admission rates. This evidence supports both universal and focused targeted services, such as Hauora delivery, to address health issues, close gaps and deliver equity outcomes. While encouraged that the rates of school-age Māori rheumatic fever declined in the Bay 30%, the rate remains 24 times that for New Zealand European students. My professional journey of 50 years has been focused on both individual and whānau care, but also Hapori community. The insights arising from upholding current principles of Te Tiriti Waitangi have been an essential part of daily work, practical services, evaluations and research. It's long past time for the active promotion of Te Tiriti as our founding document and a foundational ongoing legal contract. The revised principles of the current bill are but a faint echo of the Bill of Rights. To close, the mana of Te Tiriti has been undermined and the mana of this government by its actions too. It's time for this government to commit to reflection, restorative justice and redress and find a new appreciation of the established Te Tiriti principles and especially evidence-based, equity-guided programs. I ask that this bill is voted down, no referendum occurs. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, John. That's well timed. It's the 5 minutes for our session this afternoon. So just on behalf of the committee, I want to acknowledge your submission and for being with the committee this afternoon.
Thank you.
I gather he was opposed to the bill. Sorry, I wasn't quite the best listening at the start, as you would have seen going through the private chat. But was he was opposing the bill, that was right?
Yeah, he was opposing the bill, and it sounds like he's worked in the health sector and could see the ways that Te Tiriti had value to be able to, provide health solutions, essentially. So, and this is interesting because it ties over into some of the other policies that the current coalition government are ramming through, which are about this idea of things being universal rather than targeted towards Māori. And so we are seeing this idea that if we have equitable solutions, i.e. addressing the actual need on hand that we know based on the research, that has suddenly become too much for coalition government, and they're axing those kinds of programs like what we saw with bowel cancer last week, It's devastating, and more people will die from it. Let's be clear, Māori and Pacific people, but particularly Māori, will die from these health policies. So he touches on something that I think is very topical right now as well.
Yeah. And actually, while you mentioned the word universal, I wish they applied that to the benefit system.
Well, they really cherry pick it, don't they?
Yeah, well, considering the benefit system is meant to be targeted, it's not working that well,
No.
but it is meant to be targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's lots of things that I think could be universal in a way that's real positive, right? Like we're campaigning at Action Station at the moment for universal free dental care. So every single person can get free dental,
yeah.
and so there are some things that universal would work for, but it's very clear which are the ones that get it and which aren't, according to
Yeah. Which ones are for the right purposes and which ones aren't, yeah.
And which ones are going to get you votes, right? Too.
Yes, we've got
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, News Guide, the Order, Paper